Hi everybody, Renegade67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play Stream Face Limited Blade Works The Blind Variety. You know, last video was super short, so let's cut the BS and just get going. He didn't seem like someone that would immediately hand me the Holy Grail. I also didn't want him to interrupt later on. In contrast, Caster casts her spells all calm and composed. Right. Okay, yeah, Rin's all like, how dare you? Because he was sort of kind of like her backup father teacher. But Caster doesn't give a shit. The Magus in Purple cheerfully admits the murder of the priest. Dash. Yeah, Rin, get defensive about Kirei. That's fun to watch. You know, he shanked you in Timeline 1. I guess you don't know that. A gritting sound echoes through the temple. He was more like a devil than a saint to me. But that priest was a fellow apprentice to Tosaka. And he was killed. Even though he was involved and might have been prepared for it, it's not something she can take in readily. Well, she took it in pretty readily in the other timeline, but again, that was post-shanking, I guess.
そう。それは結構。綺麗もそれぐらいは覚悟していたでしょう。けどキャスター、一つ聞くけど、あいつの死体は確認した？
Is there fancy stuff going on with his corpse? I see. That's fine. Kirei should have been prepared for such a thing, but Caster, did you check his corpse? I'm now trying to remember, at the end of Timeline 1, where we stabbed Kirei with Rin's fancy knife she gave me, was there a special purpose to that knife that made it so he wouldn't not die? Even if there was some special purpose to make it so he wouldn't not die, if he had a way to not die, if he was to die, I feel like Caster would be smart enough to figure that out, unless it's just not. Am I mistaken, or has she suppressed all her anger? Tosaka seems like she's not angry at all. I think, you know, she was angry for a split second, but I think that's all Tosaka would ever show, really. At least when it comes to someone like Kirei. She showed her anger, then she got back into battle mode. Caster evades Tosaka's question. Like a champ? Oh, wait, really? That's interesting. Fascinating. The frames are dropping. What's doing that? I don't even think I'd bother making a save point. I guess I got like 5 seconds into it, but this is definitely something where I would tack it on to the start of the next video in terms of YouTube videos. I got a little bit further, I guess, technically. I'll make a save anyways, just to start up what I plan to do. My current plan is we're going to alternate. I don't know if you can even hear me. Depending on how bad the KBS is. But my current plan is to alternate save files. I'll take every other save file and overwrite it with my current save stuff. I will be trying to save fancy pictures and choices. And I'll be skipping those, but otherwise I try to go every other one. Like, for example, the first ever save point, I don't need this. Like, I can just start up a new game. There's really no reason to keep the first ever one, but I think, I don't know, there's nostalgia to the first ever one, so I might skip this because it's a picture, and go with this one. So, we're gonna save over this one. No more internet derps. Haha! That's funny! Because I'm having an internet derp now. Timing. I spelled that wrong, because I'm having an internet derp now. Timing. Overwrite, yes. So yeah, that's my rough plan, is we're going to be overwriting, skipping pictures. This is kind of a picture. This is nostalgic, because it's the first one. It's the thrust like lightning. Yeah, otherwise, I'll try to skip fancy pictures, like this is a fancy picture. Are you Archer? That's my guess. And then, oh, I did guess right. I guessed that he was Archer, and then later on, I guessed that Archer was Shiro. I'm so good. Did our frames stabilize? It looks like while I was talking about the BS, the frames may have stabilized. I'll give it a second. What's the exact frame drop count at? 58. Ooh, that's funny. Well, yeah, so that's the rough plan. I'll be skipping fancy images. There aren't any choices for a little while, but like the first one would be here. The second one I might go over. I got a wee. As fun as wee-weeing is. And then I would skip this one probably and go to the start of this one. And then I would go with this one. And blah, 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 blah. Is it still 58? It is. We might be able to continue in that case. All right. Was it just a momentary lapse? It's still 58. All right, let's continue then. I'm looking. I don't know. I'm expecting as soon as I start to continue, it's going to drop again. But it's still 58. All right. I'll take it. Caster evades Tosaka's question. Do I cut in the YouTube video? No, because I explained my save points. That's important to some extent. I don't know.
何を言い出すかと思えば、そのようなこと、あなたには関係ないでしょ?
What are you saying? Such a thing should not concern you. What exactly did she say? Did you check his corpse? She is evading his question, and she does not look that happy while doing it. Maybe she feels like she's been kerfuffled herself. You know, she thought she was doing the kerfuffling, but she was the one who was kerfuffled. First of all, it does concern her because she knows Kirei. I would assume someone who does as much research as Caster would know that. Maybe she doesn't. But such a thing should not concern you.
ええ、全くないわ。けど他人事でもない。あいつが本当に死んだんなら安心できるから確認しただけよ。
No, it doesn't. But it's not something totally unrelated to me. I just wanted to make sure. Since I'll be relieved if he's really dead. You'll be relieved if he's really dead? I think that's her talking big at the moment. I think she has some amount of care for him in this timeline at the moment without knowing the truth. It's a weird care. It's a love-hate relationship. But, I think she's just stirring it up right now.
それはどういう意味かしら、お嬢さん。
What does that mean, little lady? Unless she already has a prediction that Kira is a secret master at this point in this timeline. She seemed completely surprised by it in the other timeline. Well, not completely. Maybe she had like a half prediction. She wasn't fully expecting it, at least, I don't think. What does that mean, little lady?
言葉通りの意味よ、キャスター。
It means what it means, Caster. I hope you killed the fucker, but I'm sure he's still running around.
あいつがそう簡単に死ぬ玉かっての。もしはっきりと死体を確認していないんじゃ、まず間違いなく生きているって思っただけ。
He's not one to die so easily. I just thought he might be alive since you didn't check the corpse. Oh. Okay, so did he have like a body double prepared? It makes sense that he wouldn't just let himself die like a fool. But like... Okay. Maybe he had some kind of magical technique set up if he was ever to be attacked. With how much he knows about the situation, he sent Lancer to scout a whole bunch. If he has any idea of Caster's personality, he could have predicted this. And also, something similar happened in the first Grail War anyway, when his dad got killed. Well, not first Grail War, but you know, first for Kirei.
使えないわね、あなたも。どうせ綺麗を襲うなら、しっかりきっかり息の根を止めておけっていうのよ。
Oh, interesting. She did let him get away. So she thought she killed him in the interlude, and then when Shiro runs into him in the morning, it's when Kirei's getting away, I suppose? That's when Shiro heard Kirei's voice? Okay, that gives that bad ending. Combine the fact that it's kind of a funny joke of we go there in the morning, and then we go there in the afternoon, in the morning, and in the afternoon. Combining those together, in addition to the fact that I guess that foreshadows Kirei lived, yeah, it's okay. Damn, you're useless. If you attack Kirei, make sure you killed him.
まあいいわ。やることもできたし、早めに済ませましょう、キャスター。今回は人質もいないし、気持ちよく戦えるわ。
Oh well, I have something to do now. So let's finish this quickly. Caster, you have something to do now? What, hunt down Kirei? I checked again, it's still 58. I guess we are stable. We can fight freely, as there are no hostages this time. A signal to start. Tosaka or Caster? If either one of them takes a step forward, this temple will be filled with magic. Magical explosion.
大きく出たわね。あなた、この状況で私たちに勝てるつもりなのかしら？
You talk big. Do you think you can beat me in this situation? Why? What is this situation? Is there anything special about this current situation? Because if there isn't, then you're the one talking big.
やりようによってはね。幸いセイバーの制御もまだのようだし、条件は同じでしょ。
Unless that's a trap. It depends on how I do it. Fortunately, it seems Saber's yet to come under your control, so the conditions are the same. It's possible it's a trap that she's having Saber fake, not being under control on purpose. And even if not, Caster seemingly can just make under control in an instant.
それに、クズキ先生のことも分かってる。セイバーは面食らってたけど、事前に知っていれば私のアーチャーの敵じゃないわ。
And I also know about Kazuki-sensei. Saber was surprised, but he's no threat to Archer if he knows his attacks beforehand. I mean, Kazuki's strong. But, you know, Archer is Shiro, and Shiro's a smart cookie, you know, when he's all grown up, I guess. Thinking about the through line of this pathway, the idea that Kirei survived is really interesting to me. Because if Kirei survives and Gilgamesh is still doing something, we haven't followed up on that, and now we're doing a caster battle, it almost feels like they're going towards a mid-climax of beating Caster, and then there's going to be additional stuff with Kirei and Gilly, but that's just feels repetitive, because that's how Timeline 1 ended, more or less. There could be a twist upon that, but it would be surprising to me at this point if Caster isn't the final boss. And getting Saber back so quickly after losing her would also feel a little bit like lost potential. Kazuki is strong, but he's short-ranged. Archer can just snipe. Yeah, I guess. Still, though, Caster is also a sniper. So it's like Rin and Archer are both snipers. Whereas, I guess Archer can be close range. But he wouldn't be... I don't know. It's debatable how good at close range he'd be against Kazuki. I guess if he knows the techniques. But he didn't see them firsthand. He'd only have the, like, Saber's word to go off of. And how well would she have described them? Would she have even bothered trying to describe them to Kazuki? They weren't really friends at the time. Anyways. He's no threat to Archer if he knows his attacks beforehand. Tosaka points to Archer while staring at Caster.
聞いての通りよ、アーチャー。
You heard it, Archer.
キャスターの相手は私がする。下手に近づくと、あんたまで契約破りを食らいかねないから。
I'll fight Caster. She might break your contract if you get too close to her. Can't they do it both ways? Because Caster was going to jam that knife at Shiro anyway. Would that knife have mind-controlled Shiro, or would it have broke Saber's contract? I guess it's not really made fully clear yet. But it's possible that's what it could do. So I'll be fighting that man. Feels like I fought him when I was much younger. Oh!
それは構わないが、魔術師ではキャスターにはかなわないと分かっているのか、リム。
I do not mind, but do you know that a Magus cannot beat Caster Rin? It should be obvious, but, you know, just asking just in case.
安心して、勝ち目もないことは言い出さないわ。
Don't worry, I wouldn't say anything if I didn't have a chance of victory. You haven't even seen Caster fight yet. At most, you've heard how the rough way she fights from Archer. But hearing is definitely never the same thing as actually experiencing. And, you know, Caster's strong. She might be out of her temple right now, which might give you a little bit of an edge. And I guess you have your jewels that you spent on Berserker in Timeline 1 that you have not spent yet. But, I don't know. What's the trick up your sleeve, Rin?
キャスターは必ずここで倒す。そうすれば、セイバーだって元に戻って、
Oh!
シロと契約をし直せるでしょ
Figures that that's still on her mind. I wonder how Shiro will feel when he hears that. I'll surely defeat Caster here. If I do that, Saber will be freed and Shiro can make a contract with her again, right? If Shiro's actually listening in on this intently, and this isn't just an interlude, like he's definitely watching, but if he can actually hear all this, it'll be interesting how he feels about this notion. Because that would say that Rin hasn't fully broken away from Shiro. Granted, Rin was really, in my opinion, just putting on an act because she wants to keep Shiro, you know, safe in the background, not get involved, as it were. But she still, cares about him, and I guess is looking to get him back in the war, even though Archer would theoretically be against that, not knowing that he's actually Shiro. Saber will be freed and Shiro can make a contract with her again, right? Also, can you double dip like that? Shiro already used his third command spell. Would he be able to re-contract with Saber without any command spells? Unless we can steal them from someone else. I don't know if it works that way. It would definitely be... I guess we would need to fully understand we need to fully understand how Caster's weapon works, and we might need to fully understand the Grail's rules. Because would it be the Grail or Caster's Noble Phantasm giving Shiro back his command spells if he does get them back from nothing just because he makes a new contract? Because that normally shouldn't happen. I don't think. Tosaka tenses for action. I feel pressured. Okay, it's not an interlude, so he is hearing all this. I feel pressured as if she's a tiger about to attack its prey. Interesting, you don't react much to this. I guess because Shiro cares more about teaming up with Rin than he does teaming up with Saber at this point. Rin just rips off Caster's arm and implants it back on Shiro. Well, that's an option, but how do we do that without, just taking Caster out? I mean, maybe, unless you have some way to immobilize Caster, and if you can immobilize Caster, can you transfer it back without, would you have to transfer... Because if you rip off her arm and she dies, I feel like the arm would die with her. Or would the command spells not go with her if you rip off the arm? Because if you rip off the arm, you'd have to, immobilize her and not kill her to transplant the spells, wouldn't you? And then Saber would still be under Caster's control unless you find some way to turn it off and switch the control. I don't know, that sounds noodly. I feel pressure if she's a tiger about to attack its prey. And as if to stop her, oh.
理想論だな。彼女をここで倒すというのは難しい。
That is only in theory. It is difficult to defeat her here.
逃げるだけならば彼女は東大一だ。何しろ逃亡のために実の弟すら八つ咲きにする女だからな。
She is a master when it comes to running away. She's a woman that will kill her own brother to escape. Does she have a brother? Is that any kind of foreshadowing? But, do you mean she might kill her lover, Kuzuki, to run away? Interesting, though, because you just let her go when you fought her previously. Now, maybe the implication is that she could set up a bomb at any time to just, kill a bunch of people or whatever. Someone theorized that earlier, Rin or Saber, we talked about that. But, maybe the idea is that Archer knew already she could do that, and that's why he didn't aggravate her, I suppose. But, yeah, you did let her go as far as we know. Kill her own brother to escape. Archer steps in between Tosaka and Caster. It would just be like Shiro to try to take them both on at once.
Archer, ちょっと何のつもりよ?
Archer, what are you doing? Interesting. Interesting at the idea that he still doesn't fully trust Rin in combat. Shows how much he just feels like he has to protect everything. Or maybe he doesn't think Rin is quite competent enough. He didn't really necessarily like fighting with Saber, but he still, I think, trusted Saber to an extent to be competent. But he might not trust Rin to be that competent. And maybe he also understands, and this might be true, that Rin may be slightly emotionally compromised. Depending on how, if she believes what she's saying about Kirei actually getting away, or if she actually is worried that he's actually dead. And if she's actually worried, then that could be some emotional compromisation where she's being a little too aggressive, potentially. Archer, what are you doing? Dash, dash, dash. Maybe if you attach it fast enough, you'd me like a master for only the arm? You'd be like a master for only the arm? Wait, you mean Caster as the master would only be a master as an arm? That sounds complicated. Archer, what are you doing? He does not answer Tosaka. The knight in red silently confronts Caster. Yep, he's planning to just fight both of them or something. Or he's going to fight Caster and says, look, Rin, you deal with Kazuki. He's bad with magic anyway. That's fair. And Archer has fought Caster before. I think I saw something like this before. Ah, you mean when he protected you back at the temple. That was a little different, I think. But maybe it's just an admission of how scary he believes Caster is. If you tear Caster's arm off and attach it to someone, if you do it fast enough, sure. I was thinking more transplanting the command spells, but if you rip off the arm, you'd have to rip off Shiro's arm too, because otherwise... I forgot that you're still a teenager. Too used to you being a full-grown adult. Which one? Is Archer talking to young Shiro or talking to Rin? Because the idea that Archer's used to Rin being an adult would be very telling if he is used to that in some way. I think I saw something like this before.
実の弟すら八つ咲きにしたですって。
I killed my own brother? What? What's with that reaction? Wait a second. What? What is... That reaction is very interesting. I thought for sure she'd brush that comment off. Where did he say that? Let's see. It's only difficult to defeat her. She's a master who won't... She's one that'll kill her own brother to escape. Okay. I thought that he might have just been doing a throwaway, oh, she'll do anything to escape. Maybe he actually knows more about her than he's letting on, at least subconsciously, because he's Shiro from the past and he's already lived out this Grail War to an extent. So maybe he already knows Castor's real identity subconsciously and knows that Castor is someone who has a brother and that he killed her. And now she's reacting like this as if to say, wait, what? As if I have a brother but I never killed him? But maybe you kill him in the future? Or you did kill your brother. If you actually did kill your brother and Archer called it, I don't think you'd react like that. You'd be more like, wait, how did you know? Then, I killed my own brother? Just feels like an interesting reaction. The fact that she gave that even a second thought suggests to me that she does have a brother.
知ったような口を聞くのね、あーちゃん。
Oh!
あなたには私の正体が分かっていて。
Yeah. You talk like you know about me. Do you know my true identity? Uh-huh. So that's basically an admission that she has a brother. Because if she didn't have a brother, then she would just ignore that comment. Unless she has amnesia, she should remember killing her brother if she has a brother and she killed them. Yeah, that is very specific, and Castor is giving it the time of day. It's possible Castor herself forgets her own true identity? Maybe. Is it possible that I was wrong? Okay. Here's just to throw this a little bit out here. Is it possible that, because Archer also forgets his backstory, the fact that he's Shiro, does, you know, tying that in, would Sakura actually be Castor in the future? And there's like, amnesia because they're both servants from the wrong timeline, that they get amnesia because of the circumstances of their summoning? That makes Sakura super evil, but maybe Makiri, you know, did a bunch of torturing and she became evil in the future. Possible. I doubt it. I think Castor is just too against Sakura's natural way of being. But, you know, a lot of views can change people. Still, it's interesting. Do you know my true identity?
竜の葉をよりしろとした人型はコルキス王の魔術と聞く。
There's no reason for you to, in that case, Castor be lawful. Good. There's no reason to point out the idea that Castor had a brother because in the timey-wimey stuff of servants, you know, there's no real proper continuation. It could be that before she became a servant, that she killed her brother in life, but like anyways, I hear human-shaped creatures made of dragon's teeth are magic used by the king of wait, what is this? Hold on. Where did this sentence come from? I hear human-shaped creatures made of dragon's teeth are magic used by the king of Colchis. What the heck is this? Is this related to Castor's backstory? Do you know Castor's backstory because you lived out the Grail War before? I guess. In that case, Castor be lawful. Good. She was Sakura. I mean, you know, but your alignment can change over time. I do think it's unlikely for sure, though.
その娘、王女メディアは希代の魔女と謳われたそうだが。
I hear that his daughter Medea was framed as an excellent witch. Oh, so that's who we're saying Castor is then. Medea Baba is the daughter. Wait, so used by the king of Cold, his daughter, the daughter of the king of Coldus, human-shaped creatures of dragon's teeth. Okay, I was half right. The name starts with an M. Feels like a weird time for a reveal. What's the point? The point is to show that Archer knows stuff. But if he just knows everything about the Grail War, it's interesting. Because if he knows about this, it would theoretically be because he only lived through the Grail War once already, in theory. But if he did, he should theoretically know them all. So either he does and he keeps it to himself, or this one sticks out to him because Castor is special in his mind because she was a tough enemy, which theorizes the idea that she's like the big bad of the timeline or whatever. But I feel like revealing the identity in such a way of her just being some rando seems like odd timing if she is the big bad. She still could be. It's just surprising. Was famed as an excellent witch. He deduced it? Yeah, but deduced it based on what knowledge? Deduced it based on her noble phantasm, I guess. But where did he get that knowledge? I don't think Shiro has that knowledge. He certainly hasn't deduced it yet. I think this also hints that Archer wasn't Timeline 1 Shiro, because that dude didn't know Castor's ID. I suppose it's very... the concept of Archer and when he's summoned into the Grail War is a very fascinating one. Because if he's outside of time, he could be like Timeline 2 Shiro. Or he could be some random offshoot timeline that's not even part of the timelines. And there could be a whole timeline, nexus of timelines, where they don't even have to connect to each other for... Was famed as an excellent witch. The air freezes. Oh, shit. Okay. Weird. It almost does feel like narratively this is progressing towards the idea that Castor isn't the final boss, that Kirei got away, and he's like the final boss again so that he can reveal that he killed Rin's dad, but that just seems so repetitive because we already did him as the final boss once. I don't know. And if it's not going in that direction, I don't know. If I recall correctly, a part of the kingdom's founding. The air freezes. Castor's composure disappears, and enmity like fire is directed at Archer. Okay, so what's special about your backstory, Castor? That you killed your brother? I don't know, I feel like if she actually killed her brother, she wouldn't respond, I killed my own brother. Maybe it's the way she said it, which maybe I didn't perceive it well with just the text. Because if you say it like, I killed my own, I don't know. There's a way to say it to imply that you're repeating him as if, how do you know that? But when I just read it, that's not what I think that it means. But, Castor's composure disappears, and enmity like fire is directed at Archer.
So.
I see.
なら、この場はどちらが優勢かわかるでしょ?
Then you should know which one of us is an advantage, now, right? Dash, dash, dash. So does this mean nobody's specially related to Saber's backstory? Because you'd think Archer would be, but then Archer is just Shiro, so... Because that does make the King Arthur lore a little lessened, unfortunately. Unless Ryder is. She still could be. Anyways, dash, dash. Or Medea is somehow a timeline jumper as well, because we know Archer showed up and talked to Saber. So, you know, maybe Castor was summoned to a time and became evil against King Arthur for some reason. So it could still all be true. Dash, dash. The both names start with an M. That's how all good theories start. Except that Shiro's Archer theory. That was a good theory, but it started in a different way. Archer does not answer. His expression is like stone, as if accepting everything that is happening. Okay. Accepting everything that is happening. Does that mean like he himself doesn't fully know why? He just knows? Or are you accepting that you are at the disadvantage, but you don't care because you're already determined?
抵抗は無駄よ、アーチャー。
Resistance is futile, Archer.
あなたが何者だろうとセイバーを取り戻すことはできない。今はまだ私に逆らう意志が残ってるけど、それもあと1日持つかどうか。
Do you feel bad that he knows who you are, but you don't know who he is? Resistance futile, Archer. You won't be able to take back Saber no matter who you may be. She still has a will to resist me, but that should not last for another day. Will you even have another day?
それに霊樹さえ使ってしまえば今すぐにだって私の人形にしてしまえるわ。
And I can make her into my puppet now if I use my command spell. Dash, dash, dash. Okay. I barely stopped myself from moving. Not yet. Oh? Even if that's true, now's not the time. Oh, yeah, because the Saber being controlled thing triggers you. I feel like they've already danced around that issue a little bit, though. But I guess, yeah. If I want to save Saber, I can't jump out now.
たとえレイジを使われてもセイバーなら耐えられるわ。それが1分か2分かは知らない。
Heh, Saber should be able to stand it even if you use the command spell. I don't know if it'll be a minute or two.
けど
But
それだけあれば十分にあなたを仕留められるんじゃない？
we should be able to beat you in like a minute or two. Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, these fights tend to be really fast, even if the game slows them down for us. So, that's possible. Caster and Tosaka are glaring at each other. Glare off. We can't even see Caster's glare, though. Standing in between them.
不可能だな。ここでお前を切り伏せようが、せいぜいその半身を立つ程度。
That's impossible. Even if we attack you, all we would manage is to take half of your powers at most. Wait, what? Wait, are you refuting what Rin's saying? We should be able to beat you in that time? That's impossible. Even if we attack you, we would manage to take... Who are you saying this to? Because if you're saying this to Rin, you're not attacking Rin. And if you're saying this to Caster... I feel like that's worded wrong no matter what.
その後に待つのは、セイバーとキャスターを同時に敵に回すという劣勢だけだろう。
What awaits us after that is a disadvantageous situation where we'll be fighting both you and Saber. Archer does not meet his master's expectations. Okay, he worded that wrong. It's like he was telling Rin down, but using you in reference to Caster.
あーちゃん、それは。
Archer, that's...
分かっているはずだ、リン。さすがにそうなっては勝ち目がない。
You should know, Rin. We cannot win if that happens. Ah. It's smart to keep your enemies assuming that you're weak. Because because the thing is, even if it's true that you might have a chance to beat them before Saber's fully controlled, you don't want to blow that. You don't want to actually put Caster in a position where she feels she has to take that chance. You want her to think that she has the ability to do it without even having Saber on her side. If we frighten her enough, and she does it, and it gets a lot harder, it might get too hard. Even if it's possible, we shouldn't, say that it's possible. We shouldn't act that way necessarily. Granted, I know, even if Archer can think like that, Rin, likes boasting her confidence because the Tosaka pride. You should know, Rin, we cannot win if that happens.
セイバーは不完全なマスターのために能力を制限されていた。その縛りがなくなった以上、彼女は最強のサーバントだ。太刀打ちできるのはバーサーカーのみだろうよ。
Saber's abilities were restricted because of her incomplete master. Uh-huh. Were restricted? Oh, but now they're not? Yeah. Well, I mean, they're heavily restricted right now until she fully gives in. But she does not have the restriction anymore. She is the strongest servant now. Only Berserker should be able to match her. Berserker cannot match her. Not at all. One good clean shot from Saber. Maybe it's because it wasn't Excalibur, but it was the other one. But it takes off like 6 lives. Berserker doesn't even come close to matching her at her full potential. I don't agree. And that's not even her full potential when she has Avalon, if you add that into the mix. You know, Castor also just seems like a pretty good master, or pretty good servant in general, if we're going to be honest. But Archer ain't Rin. He can internally monologue. Rin has to externally monologue. It does sometimes lead to phrasing things weirdly. What, thinking out loud? There's no reason I don't think Archer for to think out loud in that way, to call Castor you, because it still feels like he's not thinking out loud because he's trying to say his things to Rin, so that still doesn't explain the weird wording. But he speaks plainly. Tosaka stares at Archer in astonishment. She's like, how dare you? How dare you not hype yourself up? You know, I have my Tosaka pride. It makes sense Archer would hype Saber up, though, because, you know, he's a bit of a Saber fanboy. Even Castor's bewildered by the sensible enemy. Only Berserker should be able to match her. If you're really Shiro, you should know that fucking Berserker's not a goddamn match at all, because, you know, he just has to use his sword birth, and then, you know, whatever it was called, Caliburn, boom, one shot. But it's different for me. Oh. I've experienced something like this before. Oh. Could he know Saber? Experienced something like this before because what? He's talking smartly? He's talking sensibly? That's why it's so crazy? Rin, I'm running out of ways to tell you we should be running for our lives. I get a bad feeling. Oh, bad feeling like what? He's going to ultimately side with Castor or something? Back through the temple. When Castor proposed that he join her, what did he say back to her when he refused? Ooh. What did he say back exactly? Don't. Oh shit, what? Oh no, are we saying that he might switch sides now? Oh, because he gave a practical response. I don't think Archer would actually entertain the idea of switching sides. Although, this has layers. Maybe he said something practical like, even if I join sides with you, we wouldn't be able to beat Berserker. But now you could join with Saber and beat Berserker because now that Saber is free of her restraints, in theory. So now realistically, I think Archer cares about Ren, so he wouldn't switch sides. But the thing is, depending on the version of Shiro this Archer is, he may care more about Saber, and so may care more about saving Saber, and may entertain the idea of switching sides in that case. She reacted emotionally. Archer reacted logically. You can't beat Herc. Why should I join? Yeah. Don't. I remember without realizing. Uh-oh. Don't do it. It's not because the situation will get worse. You're Tosaka's partner. So don't do it. Ooh, does he actually think Archer's considering it? That's true. UBW Shiro did think of killing Rin to save Taiga. And if this is ultimately, if Archer is UBW Shiro, and he's from a version where Saber goes really, really bad because of Castor, and he still blames himself internally and wants to protect Saber, you know, desperately, he may give up Rin for that exchange. Possibly. You're Tosaka's partner, so don't do it! If you do such a thing, I don't know what kind of expression she'll make. Archer steps forward. Oh boy. What has he been saying recently? What has Archer been saying exactly? The exact wording. We cannot win if that happens. Saber's abilities are restricted because of her incomplete master. She does not have that restriction anymore. She's the strongest moves now. Only Berserker should be able to match her. Yeah. I guess I can see why she would react to that, thinking back to the temple. Smart of him, thinking back to his exact wording from the temple, and about how he didn't join, because even then, you know. I wouldn't quite go to there mentally, but it is possible, especially from Shiro's perspective, after he just, with how much he wants to get Saber back. If Shiro Emiya betrays her, then, Rin's heart would break. You mean Rin's heart? If Rin knows for sure that Archer is Shiro Emiya, We could do it in a loop. Archer betrays Rin. Rin knowing Archer is Shiro. Later on, Rin then betrays Shiro, expecting to be betrayed by Shiro because Archer betrayed Rin. But Shiro wouldn't betray Rin. But Rin was betrayed by Archer, so Rin betrays Shiro, and then grows up in the Grail War, and in the future, Shiro's like, I remember Rin betrayed me, so now I'm gonna betray Rin, and it becomes like a cycle. Archer steps forward. He is empty-handed as usual. He steps forward without enmity or intent to kill. Okay, this is interesting. We're going to make a new save point. Now I'm showing this off. We're going to save over this one. I don't have to wee-wee. Not really, but I should refill my water. My throat's a little parched. I need more water. But also, don't do it! Exclamation point. Save. Yes. Unlimited betrayal works. Exactly. Archer steps forward. He is empty-handed as usual. He steps forward without any enmity or intent to kill. That feels a little bit like redundant. You could have just said, Archer steps forward without enmity or intent to kill. He is empty-handed as usual, you know, and skipped the first line entirely. What do you drink then? I don't know, juice and milk and stuff. I don't drink the alcohol. I'm not into the alcohols, but like, yeah, I tend to avoid pops, but mostly juices and milks is what I like. I mean, just drinking water recreationally is not something I care for. I've never really enjoyed drinking water beyond when my throat is parched. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it. It's something that I generally only enjoy when my throat is parched and I get that feeling of, oh, it's not parched anymore. Nice. Anyways, he steps forward without enmity or intent to kill. Enmity. What a tongue twister. Oh! Don't curse me, kid. Oh, are you gonna recommend a team up? Is that why you're black and white? Oh, shoot! My usually drink is carbonated water. So wean off my soda addiction. To wean off. I've never had a soda addiction. Just never really got into the sodas much. I've dabbled in sodas a little. But never really cared for them from what I tried. Don't curse me, kid. There's nothing else I can do in a situation like this, right? Oh, shoot! Are you actually taking Rin up on her offer, or is this inside Shiro's mind? Oh, because then Shiro, Rin would have to, Shiro would get to be Rin's partner for actually sticking around, and Archer would have betrayed Rin, but Archer is Shiro, so it's like a bad future, the fact that you'd betray Rin, but maybe it's to save Saber, because, wow! He looks and smiles at me as if he knew I was watching this whole time. Oh, given how sharp he is, I'm not surprised. I thought he was talking to Rin. Oh, fuck, are you serious? I thought he was talking to Rin when he said kid. When he said kid, I thought he was just talking to Rin. Ah. Well, Caster, let me ask you, do you have room for one more servant? What's even the point of that? At that point, you got Archer, Saber, Assassin, Caster, all in one side. The only ones left would be Berserker and Lancer. And I guess Gilly. But even if you count Gilly, it's 4 on 3. What? Yeah, and Kazuki is like servant level with close range stuff. Did you even need to bother making your team that strong? Granted, Archer might be doing this with the intent to betray them from the inside, because outwardly going against them maybe he might think is too hard. Or he might be doing this because he really wants to find a way to save Saber in this situation. But if doing this team up, does he have a plan to save Rin? Ilya and Shinji having to team up with Shiro to save the day. What an interesting team, especially given that Ilya doesn't seem to care for me much in this timeline. Most of the Holy Grail War is Caster now? Kinda always has been. She, in a way, already had like 3 servants at the start, if you count Kazuki's servant-esque. Caster, let me ask you, do you have room for one more servant? Archer, you... I don't... Okay, there's two ways to read this, I think. Either this is a really jaded... I mean, of course Archer's jaded, but he might be specifically jaded with Rin. And it might be that Rin did betray him in the past. Because it said that when Rin was having dreams, even the closest people betrayed Archer. Maybe Rin betrayed Archer when Archer was Shiro. And so there's a subconscious thing there. And in addition, Archer just wants to save Saber because maybe he failed to save Saber when he was Shiro. There's a possibility there. Otherwise, it might be all part of his grand plan. And he might think this is actually the best way to save everyone, potentially. If Rin was his lover and she betrayed him. Did they state outright that Archer had a lover? I don't remember. But yes, that would definitely make sense if she was his lover and she betrayed him. Rin, quickly, command spell him. Use up her last command spell. Would it be good enough, though? With how many people they have to fight, would it be good enough? Would she even survive the situation, even if she took out... Like, if she was to take out Caster right here with an Archer command spell, that might be good enough. But, you know, it's a last-ditch effort at that point. They stated Archer had a lover. They did. Okay, that's interesting. And they stated that he was betrayed, even by his lover. That's interesting. If Rin was his lover, then yes, there would definitely be some resentment there. So maybe it is going to be full circle if Archer betrays Rin, Rin betrays Shiro, Shiro grows up, becomes Archer, betrays Rin. But, my money would be on him doing this in a way that saves everyone, but it's hard to save Rin in this situation if he's genuinely joining Caster's side, unless he has a specific plan already in mind before he even walked into the temple, which he might. Let's see. Archer, you... Kazuki smashes her skull if she kills Caster. If Kazuki does have some kind of weird feelings for Caster, then yeah, probably. As she laughed. Will Caster accept, I wonder? Will Caster accept this proposal? She did give it in the first place, but does she think she's strong enough to win without him? Because that would make things really awkward if Archer has to stay on her side. If Caster rejects, Archer's response will probably be... whether or not it's true, to play it off like it was part of his plan to deceive her, that it was all along he was going to work from the inside and beat her. But whether or not that's true, that would likely be Archer's line to Rin, and if they have to be forced to work together from then on. But Caster laughs out loud while Archer stands tall before her. And Tosaka does not look away. What's going through your mind, Tosaka? Do you think that there's some grand plan here? Do you think there's no way Archer would betray you like this because Archer is Shiro? And you already seem to have come to that conclusion, more or less. So you think Archer's got to have some endgame, maybe, and you're trying to play along? But what if there is no endgame? She should break down at a time like this, but she keeps a straight face and jersey, gritting her teeth.
当然よ。一人と言わず、すべてのサーバントを扱えるだけの貯蔵はあるわ。
Of course.
私の魔力がどこから補充されているかは知っているでしょ?
I have enough capacity to accept all the servants. You know where I get my magical energy, right? Magical energy that allows her to maintain 7 servants. Is the lives of the people in this town. 7 servants? Since when does she have 7 servants? She's got herself, Assassin, Saber, maybe Archer. That's only 4. I don't know why you're going the number 7. Couldn't she go higher? But yeah, lives of the people in this town. Of course. Which is a very grody thing. So it'd be weird that Archer would just accept it, unless he really is that jaded. So that's why I think he's got some plan to undermine her, but maybe he really... If he has some plan, does that plan involve keeping Rin alive or not? Or if he has some end plan to undermine her and steal the Grail as long as he gets the Grail at the very end for whatever his wish is. Or rather, even if he doesn't have a wish, to destroy the Grail, if maybe that's his real wish. If Rin knows Archer is Shiro, she must be desperately hoping this is all part of the plan. That's what I'm thinking.
ならば話は早い。以前の話、 受けることにするよ、キャスター。
Then this should be easy. I shall accept that earlier offer you made, Caster. She has the capacity of all 7, but, like, there's more than 7 when you add Gilly. It just feels like 7 is a bit of an Okay, I understand. Caster's not the one who said 7, right? Because Caster just says, of course, I have enough... Oh, yeah, all the servants. I have enough capacity to accept all the servants. Sure, okay, Shiro's the one who I feel like arbitrarily says 7, but, like, there's actually 8 because Gilly, but I guess Shiro wouldn't necessarily know that if he doesn't remember the other... I shall accept the earlier offer you made, Caster. He holds out his hand to Caster in spite of that. Dash. I feel like I'll break down. I can't forgive him for betraying Tosaka. They don't know about Gil. Shiro might know about Gil, depends on how much he's remembering from Timeline 1. He's seen Gil, he doesn't know that Gil and Shinji are necessarily connected. It also depends on if he is seeing, to some extent, the interludes, which is not impossible, depending on the route the narrative wants to go. If he knows about Gil, it's because of some plot twist, but... it's certainly a possible plot twist, given that he seems to be chronologically after Timeline 1 to an extent. I can't forgive him for betraying Tosaka. And for approving of Caster and joining Caster's side. A hero. For this hero who embodies Emiya Shiro's ideals to do such a thing. Oh, an admission that he embodies your ideals, huh?
あの時は断ったのに。随分と腰が軽いのね。あなた。
Even though you refused back then, you are pretty unfaithful. He's seeing Gil and didn't pin him as a servant? Yeah, but who knows the timey-wimey stuff going on with Shiro right now. Even if, like, he saw Gil at the moment and didn't think anything of it, it could be that in a heightened moment like this, maybe where he gets further and further into his connection of the Archer of the future past, he might remember more from the timey-wimey. Depends on if the timey-wimey is connected from the Archer future past, or if it's a separate thing that's giving him the timey-wimey. Even though you refused back then, you're pretty unfaithful.
状況が変わった。
The situation has changed.
セイバーがそちらについたのなら、今回の聖杯戦争の勝機はお前にある。勝てる方につくのは当然の行為だろう。
If Saber is on your side now, you're likely to win the Holy Grail War. It's natural to want to be on the winning side, right? Archer walks toward Caster defenselessly. That means he's abandoning Tosaka. Okay. What's the play here, Shiro? If Archer's not trying to lure Caster into some kind of trap, and he's being completely genuine here, then oh my god, you and Rin seem pretty fucked to me. Unless, like, suddenly Lancer shows up and saves us. Let's team up! I don't know. Or Kirei saves us, because outside of that... I mean, Shiro, you could man up, but, like, you'd have to, like, woof. You'd have to deal with Caster and Kazuki and Archer. Like, and that's not even counting Saber, potentially. Oh, man. Even Shiro, even if you go full servant, I don't think you could do it. That means he's abandoning Tosaka. Tosaka does not stop him and stares at her enemy. She's assuming it's part of the plan, but is it really part of a plan? I mean, it's part of some plan, but... Dash. I know that figure. The red classroom. She tried to hide her trembling legs and act like the same old Tosaka-rin, even with the complete students in front of her. Oh, I see. So you think she's acting tough, but really she's super, super scared of what's happening with Archer right now? Mm-hmm. That's her strength and weakness. She tries to act firm in any situation, so everybody around her gets the wrong idea that she's a strong person. Shiro does need to man up right now once Archer goes to Caster's side. Yeah, I mean, you can't really wait anymore. Rin's pretty fucked. Even adding Shiro to the team, they're pretty fucked. But if Shiro cares the most about saving Rin right now, then that's what you gotta do at this point.
さあ、 契約破りを使ってくれ。リンにはまだ令状が残っているからな。早くしなければお前に襲いかかってしまうぞ。
I don't think Rin would do that. I don't think Rin can properly process the situation, especially if she thinks you're Shiro. And with how much she likes Shiro, she would never, she wouldn't want this contract to just end. She would want to continue being your partner. She would want to, you know, finish the whatever. If Archer is Shiro, Archer's power is as high as he could possibly go. In theory, Shiro may be able to, in an Omni, like in a better version of Shiro's self, might be able to eventually get strong to surpass this version of Archer. But it certainly wouldn't happen right now in this moment. Use your contract breaker. Rin still has your command spell. I might attack you if you don't hurry. I don't think Rin will do that. I mean, maybe you saying it, maybe that's your cue. Maybe you're telling Rin, use your command spell, have me attack her. Is that all part of your plan? His tone doesn't change. He betrayed Tosaka in front of her, but he's still acting normally. She must be on guard against such a guy. Makes sense. He is kind of smarticle. Caster takes out the distorted dagger, but she does not pierce Archer with it. Oh?
どうした？労せずして忠実な部下が手に入るのだ。
What? You'll obtain a loyal subordinate without trouble. Is there a problem, Caster? Are you already is your energy already split too thin given how hard it is to control Saber? Maybe it's part of Archer's plan to be controlled himself so that Saber can free herself if Caster's energy is spread a little too thin. I don't know. That certainly wasn't the implication, but given that Caster's hesitating, maybe she's considering such a possibility. If there is a potential of Saber to be freed from Archer being captured, and this is Shiro from this timeline, it's definitely something he would want to do. He would have wanted to be sacrificed in place of Saber, for sure. You'll obtain a loyal subordinate without trouble.
何をためらう必要がある？
Why do you need to hesitate?
どうかしら。私は裏切り者を信用しない。あなたの言葉が正しいのなら、コマはセイバーだけでいいのではなくて。
Caster, you yourself are quite the betrayer. Maybe you had a troubled past where you betrayed a whole bunch and now you've turned into a betrayer. And you're jaded. But you just enjoy the deliciousness too much. You could still be someone who had a tragic past and then just reveled in your tragedy, but... Really, I do not trust betrayers. If your words are correct, then shouldn't Saber be enough for me? If she split between keeping Archer loyal and breaking Saber has more time to resist?
裏切り者を信用しないか。
You don't trust betrayers, huh? Then you don't trust yourself. Because you're the ultimate betrayer. Because you betrayed your brother when you killed him? Or something like that?
確かに。私はお前をも裏切るかもしれん。私は私のためにお前に下るのだからな。お前を主と認めたわけではない。だが、
I certainly might betray you. I'm going to your side for my own benefit. I did not approve of you as my master, but...
霊樹とは裏切り者を罰するためにある。
The command spell is there to punish the betrayer, right? In theory it is. And yet he's saying, Archer is saying his own benefit. So he's basically saying, yeah, I'm probably going to try to betray you, but you have the command spell, so you can always outsmart me, right? It's a very interesting proposal.
いいわ。あなた一人を御し得ないようでは、私の器も知れるというもの。元よりあなたの宝具には興味があったことだし、思惑にはまってあげましょう。
All right, I shall prove to the world that I am great enough to take you in. I'm interested in your noble phantasm, so I'll follow your plan. I did say before, if I didn't say, I at least thought, I believe I said to some extent, the idea that Archer may ultimately sacrifice himself to save Saber from her situation. I just didn't expect it would be such a quick turnaround. I expected that we would see the end of Archer as he was saving Saber, maybe in some pre-final battle, and then we get a moment to be with Saber after she's free from the control, and after Archer is taken out, and after Shiro is more Archer-fied and becomes stronger, and then they do like the final battle. However, this is far more premature if that is roughly what's happening now. So I'll follow your plan. Interested in your noble phantasm. Which one, though? Are you interested in the yin-yang swords or the bone of his bones? Interesting wording, though. Cast raises her arm. I shall prove to the world that I'm great enough to take you in. Is this a hoist by your own petard situation where you are trying... It's a matter of, like, you're like, I'm so prideful in how awesome and evil I am, but you actually can't take them all at once? Is this a calculated move where Archer, like, scoped out how much energy you have and he actually doesn't think you have this much? The dagger to eliminate the contract pierces Archer's chest. Oh, just like that. Alright, what's the catch? Is there no catch? Oh boy, dash, dash, dash. Tosaka makes a pained face. He might just outright be betraying Rin so he could get the Grail easier. Yeah, very possible. More likely if Rin really did betray him in his version of timeline or whatever. It must be the reaction of having your contract broken by force. But this isn't the time to be hesitating. This has become the worst possible situation. Just about, yeah. Tosaka watches Castor and slowly retreats. I don't think that's gonna work. Tosaka's calm. She has to be, because if she's not, I think she would just burst out in, like, you know... whatever she'd burst out in this situation. She knows it'd do no good to fight them now. If she wants to keep on fighting, she has to retreat for the moment. I don't think... Unless you had some plan in store for how to retreat, the only way you're gonna retreat is if they let you at this point, I'd argue. Even if Shiro helps. Dash, dash. But there are 6 meters between Tosaka and the stairs. Is it possible to run that distance safely? And even if it is, what happens when you know, come up the stairs, as it were? Like, these are servants with servant-level speed, right? Impossible. It's apparent watching the scene from above. Kuzuki, who has been silent up to now, is on guard against Tosaka. Oh boy. If she turns and runs full speed, would she be able to reach the stairs and get to the exit before Kuzuki catches up to her? Even if she does, can she lose him? Because eventually she has to run fast enough to lose him completely. I mean, unless there's a specific reason they want to guard the church. If they think they're confident they can catch up to her, if they keep running after her, I don't see why they wouldn't just give chase. Tosaka sighs while looking up at them. Her face. Heh, that's impossible. Oh, she's admitting to herself in the situation how fucked she is. She's still staying calm, though. Is her mind just in the Tosaka pride death mode? Is that what it's in? I should run, but I know I can't run, so I'll try to fight. Because that's the proud Tosaka thing to do in this situation. Because, you know, it's hard to argue with that, but... Oh, even if you run, you probably fail, so I can see why you think that way. If that is what you're thinking, slightly unhealthy way to think, but I don't know what else you can do in this situation. You're pretty fucked without outside help. Seems to say so. Dash, dash. She'll die. She'll be killed. If I try to help her, I will also die. Yeah, I would probably agree with that sentiment. Unless someone else also helps you that you are not expecting, I feel like you're both just gonna die. The area below me is a land of death. There's a master called Kazuki along with 2 enemy servants. And 3 if we, you know, if Saber's in a really compromised mood. There's no way I'd get out of there alive. Dash, dash, dash. My throat is dry. Mine a little bit too. Let's drink some water. Ah, that's good. My fingers are tense from nervousness. 0 or 1? Eh? You mean 0 people living or 1 person living? Is that what you mean? Even before I can think. 0 or 1? As in 0 people live or 1 person lives? Where you would be the 1 person who lives? Is that what you mean by 0 or 1? Oh boy, Tosaka moves. Interesting. She starts for the stairs without any warning. Interesting. Okay, so she end up ultimately gives into the running. Huh. Interesting decision. She doesn't just give in and try to fight. She actually is willing to flee. Okay, that shows the sensibility. Nice, nice. But interesting that Shiro is hesitating so much. I guess it shows his strategery to him. But he's admitting that if I help, she'll also die. Is that just him being smart, or is it him showing there's a bit more of a distance between him and Rin than, let's say, how much he liked Saber unhealthily in Timeline 1? A land of death. There's no way I get her there alive. And you're valuing your life? Because that would be a new one. That instead of just jumping in and saving Rin, you're actually valuing your life to an extent? Maybe what? Because, I mean, the thing is, Rin did show you how to have fun, but you yourself thought it wasn't right to have fun. But do you want to honor Rin's wish for you to have fun if Rin's destined to die anyways? I can see why that might cause some confliction. She starts for the stairs without any warning. Sometimes Shiro will just have enough time to think in tense situations like this before anything really happens and he's given a choice. And this time he isn't. Maybe it shows a severing of contracts where, you know, now that Archer has switched to Caster, maybe his connection to both of them has, you know, gotten shakier. Behind her, a tall, lean figure catches up so quickly that Tosaka appears to be standing still. Oh boy. Kazuki's fist should hit her in the back of the head. Uh-oh. But you stop him, or he was able to hurt Saber through her armor. It should be easy for him to break a human skull. Dash, dash, dash. I can't save her. Oh, fuck. Are you giving up because you failed to save Saber? You think these are the repercussions of your actions? Are you just gonna let it happen? Even if someone else saves her in the last minute, are you really just gonna sit there and let it happen? I can't save her by myself. Agreed. I can't save her with this wooden sword. Agreed. I'll die if I go out. Probably. I'll die if I go out. I'll die if I go out. I'll die if I go out. And you go out anyway. Because Rin's worth it. I'll die if I go out. Good question. Let's keep the fancy picture and just overwrite the school top. Let's see here. Die with Rin or live alone? Don't do it. Don't do an Archer. Okay, don't help her or help her. This is an interesting choice, because I agree that they're probably both fucked unless there's something we are unforeseeing that is going to save us, like Kirei or something. I don't know. However, I feel like if we don't help her, Rin is gonna die, Shiro will get depressed, and then he might die anyway. If he doesn't die naturally, he might just suicide because Rin's dead. But if we help her, we might be able to prolong the situation long enough for someone to come in and save us at the last second. I feel like leaving Rin to die just leads to ultra cynical Shiro. Yeah, there's that, but also Shiro, I don't know. In this situation, how can you even really walk away from this? Even if you want to be completely practical and say, if I turn around now, I can maybe live. It seems like Archer's already spotted you, so, like, he might let you walk away and live. But once they've dealt with Rin, they are probably going to realize you're there, or you were there, and maybe even hunt you down. And Archer has been wanting to take Shiro out for a while. At least he's been saying as much. So I don't think there's much of a long-term future for us, especially given Shiro's current mental state if we don't save her life. So I think we just try to help her and hope someone else saves us both. Yep. I jumped down. I don't even use the stairs. Stairs are for wussies. Nice. I have jumped down behind Tosaka without even knowing it. But that's it. Oh gosh, did you crash and burn? Because you didn't stick the landing? My wooden sword is destroyed by Kazuki's fist. Oh shoot, you jumped in the way. Nice. Going for Tosaka's head. Alright, once again, you saved her from a death head blow. Okay, and it doesn't seem like Archer was about to save her from that. Unless Archer saw Shiro acting. That's the only possibility, is Archer saw and trusted that Shiro would do it. If he does have a long-term plan. Though, he really might just be going for, nah, fuck Rin at this point. Which case, oof. So, I do think, I actually have to pee. I didn't pee during my first break, but I have to pee now, so. Shiro and Rin, friends again. In time to die together? Archer and the not saving Rin choice. Ugh. Oh fuck, I did not plan for Shiro being a coward. Yeah, maybe. My wooden sword is destroyed by Kazuki's fist, going for Tosaka's head. So this is interesting, yeah, interesting in a way. What this means that there's an interesting through line here, where on the rooftop, Rin is like, turns away from Shiro, says, you just stay at home and protect yourself or whatever. I'm gonna go off with my partner, Archer. Knowing that, you know, they're both Shiro or whatever, to some extent I think she knows that. And is just taking the other partner. And then Shiro has to come back and save him, finding out that this partner, which he doesn't necessarily know is also him, but she maybe does, is not good for her. And that he reaffirms to himself that he is the good partner for her. Which is a fine through line, I guess, but it also means they can more develop on their relationship a bit more given the time that's left in the visual novel. And we might actually get to have that, you know, more chances for a Shiro and Rin. Now they both don't have servants in theory, and get a chance to fight if they are going to get a... We're probably going to have to get saved by someone, I would assume. Possibly Lancer will show up and Kirei might save us. I don't know, that's the best guess. But it does throw a... Shiro saving Rin from a toxic boyfriend. Yeah, kinda. It does throw a wrench into the notion of Shiro alone and maybe discovering himself, because it's sort of, it's not as unhealthy as what was going on with Saber, I would say, but he still was a one-track mind of, I just have to partner with Rin, which does feel a little bit like, retread, but not necessarily, not even in like retread like, oh, it's bad for the narrative, but more, it might be bad for Shiro's mind state, that he's still just so focused on the one person important to him. I guess because he's latching onto that because it's still hard for him to like himself. He still doesn't believe he should like himself. I was hoping maybe we could have some, you know, post-Saber getting stolen Shiro BSOD, but he kind of just got up and went without even taking time to think about that whole circumstance. If anything, he might have been trying to ignore that circumstance and what the resolution would be if he really thought about it. But I was definitely expecting more of a self-revelation, and then Shiro having to be on his own, or rather without the person he wants to be with for a little bit before rejoining. This quick rejoining is fine, but it definitely says something about Shiro's mind state that he's still so attached to the one person. My wooden sword is destroyed by Kazuki's fist, going for Tosaka's head. What? Nani? Everyone's astonished by the sudden intruder. Really? I think our Archer saw it coming. Except for one man who reacts as though it's perfectly natural. Archer, of course. Oh, or Kazuki? Is he the one who reacts as if it's personally? I don't fucking know. Dash. He does not hesitate. I mean, you know, whatever. If something gets in the way, he'll just keep attacking, right? He's used to surprises. Or maybe he saw you coming too. Maybe Archer's pretending to be surprised, or maybe he's surprised Shiro saved her, not that Shiro was there. Maybe he thought Shiro would be a coward in this situation. It does not matter for this man who the enemy is. Then again, Shiro might not be focused on everyone else's reactions and may just be mostly focused on Kazuki because he's right in front of him, and he's the, you know, big threat at the moment. It does not matter for this man who the enemy is. There's 2 enemy servants. Who's our main opponent right now? The fucking master. He has no emotion for the one who appeared. Oh boy. Shiro versus Kazuki, the rematch. Death's scythe is thrust. I feel like a scythe would be swung, not thrust. I mean, you can thrust it, but I don't think that's very effective. There's no way to block it. Yeah, I guess that's effective in that case. I'll have my neck snapped like a flower. How pitiful? It's meaningless if I won't last even 2 seconds. I will not be able to do anything, not even save Tosaka. Believe in yourself, Shiro. Believe in yourself enough to at least prolong enough. Maybe he's doubting himself because Saber got taken. Or rather, Taiga got kidnapped initially. Maybe that's why he's so down on himself. He was thinking about even letting the fact that he even thought the choice was a choice to just let Rin, even though she seems to be the most important person to him, there was a choice there where he would have just let her go, and even the fact that he thought about it so much. And now he's thinking that he's not confident. He's thinking for sure that he'll die in this situation. He doesn't feel confident in the ability to protect because his perception of how much he can protect has been shattered with Taiga being taken kidnapped and then Saber ultimately being lost. Shiro might now be in the state of mind where he doesn't think he can properly protect anything, and he hasn't reaffirmed that to himself, and hasn't really taken time to think about what the next step in that process is, so he's just stuck on, I can't save things now. Tell only one Shiro would never think about letting Saber be hurt. I will not be able to do anything, not even save Tosaka. I think it's the doubt. No. Oh, the doubt is being subsided. I had a way from the start. Yin-yang swords? I can prepare numerous things to block the attack. Oh? If I am a magus. Are you, though? What is the fighting? What is the fighting is not my body. What does the fighting is not my body, but something I make out of magic. Okay. It's not a gradual, oh, I'm better mentally. It's better and worse in different ways. Sure. I think, you know, there was a big betterment step in Timeline 1. But, yeah. There'll always be ebbs and flows. Something I make out of magic.
Torres. On.
Oh boy. Then make it. Success is a matter of course. Do not reconstruct it from the basic structure. Oh, danger! What the heck? Danger? Red text danger? Do not reconstruct it from the basic structure. Read its concept, the maker's thought, expectation, moral, faith, and the origin itself. He even went back one line. Maybe his lacking confidence is the reason he went back one line. Or because Archer is split away and been taken by Caster, that his second line has gone away because, you know, that's the second himself. Do not reconstruct it from the basic structure. Read its concept, the maker's thought. Read the maker's thought? How do you do that? Unless you, I mean, you would be the maker of the yin-yang swords in theory. Unless there's something, unless you actually have them legitimately made at some point. I think the yin-yang swords at this point are just swords that exist because you copied them from your future self, so they have no real starting point. Unless, again, that changes in the future. Read its concept, the maker's thought, expectation, moral, faith, and the origin itself. Danger. Oh boy! Is this gonna hurt your body big time? Maybe the red text danger is him being like, this is bad. If you do this, you'll hurt your body really bad. And he's ignoring it because it's to protect Tosaka. That is why it's not reconstruction, but projection. It is an equal shadow cast by the true object. Imagine being so good at tracing you can copy the original artist's thoughts. Yeah, that's pretty insane when it comes to tracing. The artist's thoughts. What was the artist's intention when they wrote Fate's Day Night? What were they trying to get across with this line? Why are the curtains blue? But projection is an equal shadow cast by the true object. Danger. Oh boy, big danger, and he's ignoring it. Well, it's small danger, technically. it's in small text. It does not matter how great the work is. If it has been accomplished, there's no problem with recreating it. The world's ultimate forgery? Forgerist? What do you call those? Forgerer. Forgering. Plagiarist. No. Forgerist. Plagiarist? No, plagiarist is taking the... Forgerist is forging... Anyways. No, actually, no, I want to look this up. What's the word for that? What? Forgerist? Forgerer. Forgerer. Forgery. It's just a forger? I thought there'd be like a okay, there's no word. No problem without recreating it. Overload. Oh, shoot, you overloading your magic circuit? Magic circuit isn't ready for it? Because you never had the dragon sex? Shiro copied Kiritsugu's ideal. This is simply an extension of that initial desire. Well, I think you could argue he plagiarized Kiritsugu's ideal. With copying the swords, I think that's more forgery, which I think is a little different, I would argue. Because he didn't copy the real ideal. If he did, and if it was a perfect forgery, then there wouldn't be the self-doubt issues of, I'm not doing this correctly, or whatever. If it has been accomplished, there's no problem with recreating it. Overload. Okay, so maybe because he never had the dragon sex in this timeline, he never got his circuit properly connected. So at Archer, or maybe because even if the circuit was properly connected after Archer did it, he needs to take some time, and he hasn't taken enough time, so he shouldn't be doing it, and that's why it's an overload. Interesting, though. Is this his internal thoughts telling him this, or just a part of his magical body? Oh, there's the second line. You shouldn't be putting the second line back on? There's another problem. Yes, the problem is that the unit cannot keep up with the function. My body is burning. Oh, boy. Every cell in me catches fire. Oh, shoot. Fitting, because of your circumstances with the fire, my nerves let out agonizing cries. Ooh, my retina cracks and dries. Ooh, and my heartbeat disappears. That sounds very bad. Avalon, please do your work here. Is Saber in the room? Can we have a connection, enough of a connection for Avalon to help me out a bit more? I ignore my body's order to stop. The concept of creation, the basic structure, the composition material, the skill of its making, the experience of its growth, the accumulated years, I skip it all and make up Kansho and Bakuya. Skip it all. Accumulated years. What years would there be, though? If Kansho and Bakuya are... Where do those names come from? Were they actually created at some point? Or are they just swords that only ever exist because you copied them from your future self, I wonder? My whole body is burning. Using projection now means dying. Are you accepting that, though? Shiro is now Rin's archer? Yeah, I guess he's gonna have to be. I don't think he's quite as strong, but maybe he's more loyal. Emiya Shiro's body cannot handle such magic. So don't use Emiya Shiro's body anymore, use Archer's. Steal it! Steal it from your future self! Can you do that? Is that a thing that could happen? My head ignores it, and therefore my body will die. But that cannot be a problem. You won't let it be? Oh, the swords. No, it cannot be. I will die if I reproduce swords? Of course not. This body is a magic circuit specialized for that purpose alone. Ooh, an understanding. Rin said how you were super specialized for it. Or are you just seeing into your future self and stuff and how, yeah. I've been saved by swords, and I have lived with swords. I suppose you were saved by Saber's sword at least once, and maybe saved even by Archer's swords. I do not know about others, but it is impossible for me to destroy myself by reproducing swords. Well, that's a form of confidence. Is it confidence that comes from just blind hope, or is it from actual some subconscious knowing? Oh! That sounded like Link. I repel it. The same weapons are in my hands, and my enemy is the same. Last time he kind of retreated, kind of, sorta. Although I think the reason he retreated is because he thought, at the time it was like, well, now that Saber is familiar with my attacks, that kind of mentality, so. Ooh. He saw that landscape, the one in the dream. Yeah, the one with the swords, which theoretically should be archers, but Shiro hasn't necessarily connected the dots that that's meant to be archer. Or if he has, then he subconsciously already connected the dots that he is archer, which is possible because I think Shiro is pretty smart, even if he just thinks that that's too weird to be real. Or that he shouldn't be good enough. But here is sort of an admission that he is good enough. So maybe he subconsciously already knows he's archer and he's like, I can't be that good, and he's denying it. But then he's like, no, 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 in this moment I have to be that good. So he's accepting it for Tosaka's sake. The same weapons are in my hands, and my enemy is the same. Kancho and Bakuya are in my hands. The reproduced noble phantasm of archers repelled Kazuki's fist once again. So here's the question. Can, Archer still use those if Shiro's using those? Yeah, probably the answer is yes, because Saber was using Avalon against Gilly while Shiro created his own version of Avalon against Kirei. But, Ooh. Dash, dash. It stops right there. Does your fist deflect the sword properly? Kazuki must have figured out this would turn out like last time, as he takes a step back. Oh boy. Oh boy, it's hurting you, Shiro. But that confidence might be enough for your Avalon willpower to seep in enough for you to not be fucked up. Because, it seems like Avalon is to an extent tied to will, and it seems like this is the most willful you've been in a long time. My lungs explode. Oh boy, that sounds painful. The breath I've been holding escapes my mouth in a rush. I don't feel my left shoulder. That sounds bad. My wound is completely opened up and the blood stains not only my bandage, but my shirt as well. Very bad. It's not damage brought on by using the projection magic. Oh? 2 attacks. His fists? I only repelled Kazuki's attacks twice, so my shoulder got destroyed. Ooh. It's, not damage brought on? Or it's damage from blocking? Living with swords, remembering the swords growing in Shiro in the last timeline. Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm one with swords, yeah. The swords throughout his body? The question is, why are the swords throughout his body? Even if he's Archer in the future, why is his body just swords? Where does that come from? Is that a connection with Archer in the future? But even if it is that have to do with his noble phantasm of the swords being in his body? He pulls them from, the sword realm within him? Does that sword realm come from the future, or has it just always been something in Shiro because there's a mystery with him dating even further back? Is the important question, I suppose. I only repelled Kazuki's attack twice, and my shoulder got destroyed. I bet my shoulder would have been dislocated with one more attack, and my arm would have split open. Woof. I can't show that. Ooh, keep on a brave face. I mean, it's kind of hard to not show it. You are bleeding profusely. I ready my twin swords and protect Tosaka's back. Ah, now you're protecting her like Archer would. Har, har, har. If he's pulling them out of somewhere, wouldn't they run out? I mean, just like the human body normally regrows its human parts. The swords might regrow the sword parts just really fast. I don't know how that works. Something bone on my sword, yeah. Magic realm of respawning swords is a bit too specific of a magic bullshit. Yeah, magic realm of respawning swords is interesting and feels like it should come from something. Even if it's something Archer does in the future, Shiro Archer, there is a question of where it comes from. It should come from somewhere. I ready my twin swords and protect Tosaka's back. And Tosaka is... You idiot! Why are you here? She has stopped and is complaining to me. Well, that's the Tosaka thing to do. She's very unsure how to deal with the circumstance. Makes sense. Dash, dash, dash. I'm relieved. Of course you are. And that's a Shiro response. My choice wasn't wrong. She's not dead. I'm glad her good-heartedness is still there. No, now's not the time. It's too early to tell if my choice was right or not. Oh, she said Shiro? Of course, in this situation, she said Shiro. I guess she was putting it off and saying Emiya for a while. True. Oh, they didn't say it in the text, though. I think it's important when she says Shiro, because when she says Emiya versus saying Shiro, it's important. But, you know, in the text, it's not there. They left out her saying Shiro, which I think is a translation snafu. But they could say Shiro, you idiot. But anyways. Okay, she said Shiro. That makes a lot of sense given the circumstances. She's able to fully commit to Shiro, given that Archer has already betrayed her and she's potentially not even part of the normal war, but also Shiro just saved her life, so, you know, it works. It's too early to tell if my choice was right or not. We have to get out of here alive. Shiro is still fully on the Tosaka train, though. He has not called her Rin at all yet.
悪い文句は後だどうせか一息つけたらちゃんと聞くから今はあいつらを何とかしよう
As if it'll be that easy. Sorry. Complain to me later, Tosaka. I'll listen once we get out of here. So let's take care of them first. Sure, as if you can manage that. Tosaka nods silently and readies herself beside me. Cool, at least I get to finally have my wish of seeing the two of them fight together without any servants helping them out. But, I still feel this is a bad circumstance, because I feel like almost for sure they have to be saved. Maybe they can fight long enough, to have a cool, you know, thing going on before they're saved, because I feel like someone's got to save them. Archer calls her Rin all the time, though. Oh, yeah, that's post-character development Shiro, who feels much closer to Rin. There we go, makes sense. Also, though, it's more polite to call your master. Well, is it? I mean, maybe it's not. That is interesting. It is interesting that Archer calls her Rin. That shows maybe that Archer did think of Rin as maybe his lover in the timeline he's from of growing up, and he eventually starts calling her Rin when they get, you know, really close before she theoretically, betrays him. Otherwise, he's calling her Rin because even if it's not the exact same type of timeline, he just got that close to her before his end in his timeline. If not, it might just be a calling of Rin. It's weird, though. You could just call your master Tosaka, but, you know, maybe he feels more comfortable calling it first name because he wants to feel close to Rin, or he thinks he wants to, depending on how, he doesn't, you know, depending on how much his subconscious is playing into his memories based on the future past. Complain to me later, Tosaka. I'll listen so you get out of here. So let's take care of them first. Tosaka nods silently and races up behind me.
手を出すと分かってはいたが、まさか飛び降りるとは思わなかった。
Oh, so it was more than just Archer that knew I was there the whole time. I knew you were going to do something, but I did not think you would jump down. Yeah, he seems like the kind of person that wouldn't necessarily be distracted by the current ongoings and would be paying attention to the surroundings, so yeah. Him noticing Shiro definitely makes a lot of sense. Although I think Archer did too, but you know. Kazuki is watching us, his fists ready to fight. Ready to kung fu fight. And how will this kung fu fight go? That's a great question. That we can find out after our intermission on this Dragon Ball Z. Should be the last intermission of this stream. How do we not die? Oh boy. Right, so Kazuki is watching us, his fists ready to fight. I'm Pete, I'm all back and ready to fight Kazuki. Let's go, Ed. Put up your dukes. Your dukes are already up. You beat me to it. The longest bad end. If it's a bad end, then yeah, it's... Turns out you had to not jump down the stairs. Just let Rin die. Ooh, that's dark. Or she would have been saved by Archer if I hadn't jumped down the stairs, which would have led to an ultimately better conclusion. I don't know. He has no intention of letting us go. Maybe the Fate to UBW bad end. Ah, yeah, the one where you transition, right? And then you're forced to lose because you're on the Fate executable. Yeah, that's pretty long. He has no intention of letting us go. He's standing there, so he doesn't let one of us go. Oh, so he doesn't let one of us? That's an interesting wording, because that could be taken to mean that he's okay to let one of us, but he can't let both of us go. As if he doesn't want to let one of us. Or is there a specific one he doesn't want to let? Anyways. I just feel like he should be saying he's standing there, so he doesn't let either of us go, if that's what they mean. If either one of us moves, he should react right away. So you have to react first, right? So Rin doesn't die? Dash, dash. But I can't be taking my time. The wound on my shoulder is getting worse by the second. My concentration fades as more blood is lost. I will say, even though I'm almost certain someone is saving us, there's enough variables here that I could see it going a lot of ways. Archer could have some contingency plan for us to live. Saber could somehow break free for a second and save us. Maybe Rin actually does have a backup plan to get us out with her jewels somehow. Or the most likely one in my mind is Kirei and Lancer saving us, to be honest. But there's enough variables going on that even though I think that's definitely where it's going, I don't really have a clear idea of what and who will save us. My concentration fades as more blood is lost. Yeah, his heart did kind of stop for a second. And possibly his lungs exploded, so that sounds bad. My body won't last long to start with. If we are to run, we should do so as fast as possible. Ooh, entertaining the idea of running. But we can't run away that easily. Kuzuki will react if I move. When that happens, Tosaka will be the first one to die. Oof. Tough choice. I have to be Kuzuki to let Tosaka go. But I don't have the power to be Kuzuki, and he's not our only enemy. Avalon working overtime. Makes sense. Shiro is, I think, more filled with a true purpose now. Now that Archer's abandoned her, and Shiro gets to reclaim his position of being her partner, that gives him a purpose, and I think fills his will enough that Avalon gets to do its thing more. So it makes sense that I think Avalon's working harder. Also, Saber might be really close by. I don't know if she's technically in this room right now, but she should be close by, so that might help too. I don't know. Like, it seems like he's getting worse, but yeah, given that he shouldn't even really, have been able to do it in the first place. I have to beat Kazuki to let Tosaka go, but I don't have the power to beat Kazuki, and he's not our only enemy. Behind Kazuki are Caster and the betrayer, Archer. No, in the worst case, Saber might also become our enemy. What are you gonna do? Dash, dash, dash. Was there no exit to begin with? Wasn't that the whole idea when you came in here? It's like, I will die if I go down there, but you decided to do it anyway? There's no miracle that'll let us escape from here. I disagree. I think it has to be a miracle. If you're going to escape, there will be a miracle. But there is no normal means that will let you escape, I would say. I want Tosaka to escape at the very least, but even that would require so much luck that it makes me sick. Agreed.
そこまでのようね。あなたの乱入には驚いたけど、
That's
結
it.
果は変わらないわ。
I was surprised by your intrusion, but the result does not change.
ええ、その顔では諦めもついたようだし。出てきたということは、殺されてもいいということよね。
It looks like you've given up. You came out, so you don't mind dying, right? You sure you don't want to use me as a battery? In the other timeline, you were like, hey, I'll use you as a battery. So, is that offer still on the table? Because, I mean, just like Archer, how he was willing to give himself up. Or maybe you don't need two Shiros. If you realized how similar their abilities are. I doubt you would have connected those dots, but,
ここでおしまいにしてあげるわ。生かしておいても面倒でしょうし、ここでまとめて。
She getting cut off? I shall end it here. It would be troublesome to keep you alive, so... Did she get cut off? Do we have to hold our ground for a little longer, or is this the end? Dash, dash! She's coming. Uh-oh! I'll resist with all my powers. I ready my twin swords and stand in front of Tosaka. That's right, stand firm. And then, what saves you? Released intent to kill. Right before it reaches us?
いいや。待て、キャスター。
Oh. Archer has a plan? So Archer's the one who saves the day in the end anyways? No, hold on, Caster. Oh. The knight in red stops the attack with an emotionless voice. Oh, boy. So he is the one to save the day. Archer maybe does ultimately want to do whatever his goal is with the Grail And he doesn't want to let Rin living get in the way of that, but he's also smart. So if he has a good idea for why letting them live is smart, he would definitely approach that angle given how much he likes to save people, unless he's got a specific vendetta against Rin. But even then, even if he did, given the type of person he is, and how much he theoretically hates himself, he would probably be like, well, she betrayed me. Oh, well, I still want to save her. The knight in red stops the attack with an emotionless voice.
アーチャー、この場での発言権がないことぐらい読み取ってると思ったけど。
I thought you would know that you have no right to say anything here.
いや、言い忘れていたことがあった。お前の軍門に下るには、一つだけ条件をつけたい。
No, there's something I forgot to tell you. I want to give one condition for me to side with you. What, that you let Rin live? Does that mean Shiro's fair game? or what is your condition they both get to live? Because that's a pretty big condition.
条件で
A
すって。
condition? I mean, at this point, hasn't your contract already been broken? Hasn't he already been stabbed and now he's on their side already? It's a bit late to offer a condition now. To be fair, he was kind of resistant to Rin until a command spell was used on him. So I don't think a command spell has been used on Archer yet. From Taster.
ああ、無抵抗でお前に自由を差し出したのだ。
Yes, I gave you my freedom without resistance.
その代償として、この場では奴らを見逃してやれ。
Okay, that's simple. As compensation, I would like for you to let them go. That's... Archer, it's interesting for you to say that. There's a reason it's interesting is because were you expecting Shiro to jump in and save Rin and you were going to make this proclamation afterwards? Or is this because you want to save Shiro, even if you don't necessarily care about Rin? It's interesting because Kazuki was going for Rin, and probably Rin would have died. Now, maybe if we chose the other route, Archer would have stepped in anyways. And maybe Shiro stepping in to save Rin is what saves him. Because maybe Archer saves Rin and says that is his condition anyways. And then when Shiro doesn't step in, he's like, okay, bye kid, you should have helped out Rin. But whereas in this ending, because we help out Rin, Archer includes me in the deal to let us live. Maybe that's how the other ending is a bad ending. I could see that. As compensation, I would like for you to let them go. Still, is she really gonna just allow that?
どの道マスターとしては機能しない者たちだ。殺す価値はないだろう。
They're useless as masters now. There's no merit to killing them. There's merit. As long as you're a master, there's some merit. His proposal sounds objective. Tosaka watches it intently. If she still thinks she's Shiro, she's like, what's the angle? She probably thinks Shiro's trying to take it all in by himself. He's taking a route that will save Ren and Shiro, and maybe even oust them from the war so they don't get involved anymore. And yet he can, take it all on himself and try to betray Castor later. Once again, taking everything on himself. You have half the war on your side. What are two teenagers going to do to you? That would be preying on her prideful side.
見逃せですって。言動の割には甘いのね、あなた。
Let them go? You are more good-natured than you act. Well, I mean, he let you go in the past too. Maybe that was secretly so that you didn't, set off some self-destruct button. But he did let you go in the past. Which, in this moment, wouldn't that be fair as fair situation? You're not one to live by playing fair. But if you really do want Archer on your side fully without wasting a command spell, and it's convenient to have him on your side without wasting a command spell.
私とて人の子だ。さすがに裏切った瞬間に主を殺したでは後味が悪い。
I was born as a human. It would leave a bad aftertaste if I kill my master right after I betray her. I mean, I think most servants start as humans, unless they're ones specifically just from fairy tales that were never real.
裏切り者のくせによく本人の前で人並みのことを言えたものね。
Oh, you're a traitor, but you say such a thing in front of the one you betrayed? Maybe he thinks working from the inside is the best way to get Saber saved. Maybe he wants to learn the ins and outs of, well, if he knows her identity. Just because he knows her identity doesn't mean he knows the ins and outs of it, I suppose. But he might think the best way to save Saber is from the inside. But also, he thinks that confronting them is far too dangerous of a prospect. So to save Rin, he's going on the inside, ousting her from the war, with her living as a condition, and then he's going to try to save Saber and defeat Castor from the inside. I could definitely see that logic. You're a traitor, but you say such a thing in front of the one you betrayed?
いいわ。今回は見逃してあげましょう。けれど次に目障りな真似をしたら、誰が止めようと殺します。
Interesting. So she enjoys the act of treachery, and she enjoys Archer's personality. That wouldn't be too surprising, given that she enjoyed Shiro's personality. I guess she just enjoys the Shiro type, given how she proposed the offer to both Shiros. But Shiro being the hero of justice, not being able to be understood by anyone once again. That's definitely what I think is going on most likely, because even though Archer is super cynical at this point, I think he's still, at the heart of it, trying to save as many people as possible. I don't think he likes himself enough to hold a vendetta, even if Rin does betray him at some point. I don't think he likes himself enough to get mad about it. He would just rationalize it as, oh, that makes sense. If you had something worth hating me over, that was probably fair, and it was probably my fault, and I probably deserved to be hated. So you just let it wash off your back and save them anyway, if that did happen. I should let them go this time, but I'll kill them if they get in my way, no matter who stops me again.
それでいいかしら、アーチャー。
Is that fine, Archer? Maybe this gives us time. Okay, this is one way we could have time, because we've just been given a life extension. Granted, Shiro was given this extension anyways by Castor, after the whole Saber incident. Although with Shiro single-mindedly going after Rin, now that we're alone, we're going to probably have to... Rin, at least, I think will have the mind to interject themselves, because she's never going to consider herself out of the war in this circumstance, I don't think. I mean, even as much as she might want to let herself just have fun with Shiro and live happily ever after, she cares too much, I think, about the other Shiro, as it were. Enterprise's Tosaka, I think, to just let that happen at this point, despite how close she's gotten to this Shiro, or rather, the Shiro that isn't the Archer Shiro. So she's probably going to be the one to suggest to interject themselves into the Gilgamesh, Shinji, Ilya situation, and try to use some kind of alliance to go against Castor for the real final battle. Archer did die happy, so yeah, any betrayal was definitely let go. We gave both Saber and Archer, both of our should-be servants, to the enemy. Is that fine, Archer?
当然だ。この状況でなお戦いを挑むような愚か者ならば、
Of course.
手早く死んだ方がいい。
If they're stupid enough to continue fighting in this situation, they deserve to die. That must have concluded the negotiation. So yeah, my assumption is in the bad ending, Archer saves Rin from Kazuki, and then says something like, a condition of my joining your side is that we don't kill her. But you can kill him just standing on the stairs over there. And then he points out Shiro to them and they kill me. Would be my assumption. That must have concluded the negotiation. The intent to kill, filling the temple, goes away, and the restraining enmity fades. Alright, makes sense. If anything, maybe Shiro's choice to help Rin could be grounded in the idea that he trusts the future version of himself subconsciously. Don't come back to the war, you both. He probably wants to keep them out of it, but they're not going to stay out of it. Shiro might be willing to stay out of it if Rin's willing to stay out of it, but Rin wouldn't be willing to stay out of it. Also, Shiro still wants to save Saber. Shiro's main concern, I think, is keeping Rin safe. However, Rin, I think her main concern is elsewhere at the moment. The intent to kill filling the temple goes away, and the restraining enmity fades.
そういうことよ、お二人さん。今回は見逃してあげるわ。
So that's it, you two. I'll let you both go this time. Alright.
さあ、敗者は敗者らしく逃げるように立ち去りなさい。
Now, run like the dogs you are. 逃げるよ。 Older Shiro pulling a Rin on Rin who pulled this act of forcing him out of the war on Shiro. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but yeah. Yeah, it's basically it. I glare at Castor. But Tosaka pulls on my arm silently. Yeah, Castor really is this big bad villain for you at this point. I guess if we take some time away, it gives them more time to build a potential grody relationship between Castor and Kazuki. If Castor did kill her brother in her backstory, we're probably going to go over that to a decent extent if she is the big final boss villain. It should create some kind of parallel, I would think, because there's no actual chemistry, in, raw chemistry from backstories with her and, let's say, Saber or something. There should be some kind of parallel between her backstory and another character, unless she is secretly somehow also Morgan from Saber's backstory, whatever. But yeah, there should be some amount of parallels. Killing her own brother is an interesting one, assuming she actually did that. Interesting. Tosaka pulls on my arm silently.
行きましょう。今はあいつの言う通りよ。
Let's go, she's right. Makes sense she has a level head here. She probably trusted old Shiro from the start. So she, as soon as she sees Archer de-escalate, she trusts and understands the move to an extent, I think. It would be kind of neat to see Archer interacting with Saber as well. Oh, yeah. True. It'd be interesting to see them interact as bad guys. Yeah, very fair. I mean, bad guys. Let's go. She's right. She whispers in my ear. Dash, dash, dash. I calm down and turn my back to the enemy. We don't run, but slowly make our way to the stairs. The distance that seems so great is covered in just a few steps. A footstep. Tosaka takes a step onto the stairs and turns back to Castor. Oh? No, that's wrong. Chigao, yo! Tosaka did not look at Castor, but at the man smiling beside our enemy. Who? I mean, I don't think Kazuki knows how to fucking smile. So if it's a man, it's gotta be Archer. He does tend to smile a lot. He's a smirker. Such a sarcastic smirk, too. I don't know if we've ever really seen Archer laugh, just thinking about how Shiro doesn't laugh. I mean, even though Archer will smirk, and he might occasionally go, heh, I don't think he ever has done a proper laugh as far as we've seen. Has Saber ever done a proper laugh, though? She's kind of stoic in that sense, too. But, yeah. He still smirks a lot, even if he doesn't laugh. Tosaka did not look at Castor, with the man smiling beside our enemy. Archer transformed all that self-hate into snarkiness and cynicism. I think the self-hate is there, but at this point, it's more, he does put everything else above him, probably, but maybe doesn't think as much about the hatred towards himself. Possibly. It is wrong to curse me, Rin. It is just that this woman is a better master than you are. Saying that right in front of her is definitely a good reason to make her curse you. If the difference is clear, I'll choose the stronger one. If Rin really has seen his dreams, and also to an extent knows he's Shiro somehow, and understands the kind of hero he is, I think she would have trusted in him this whole time. That's why she acted so weirdly in the situation. She's like, do I run? Am I supposed to assume that he's going to betray me? But now this is when I think things finally started to click for her, when Archer, chimed in. Castor stole Archer's man? Rin's man, yeah, Archer's man. If the difference is clear, I'll choose the stronger one.
そうね。けど後悔するわよ。私は絶対に降りない。
You're right, but you'll regret it. I'll never give up. In the start of the war, you wanted to prove that you were the best servant for Rin, if memory serves. That Rin was all pouty, you know, she didn't get Saber, and you're like, I'll prove that, haha. And you also said how good she was as a master, because it grumbles. I don't think those are lies. I think what you're doing right now is a play. But I think Rin kind of understands the play to an extent. Given how calmly Rin is reacting, especially right now, you know, that's a pretty mean line. I think she knows what's up. You'll regret it. I'll never give up.
いい。キャスターを倒してあんたを取り戻す。その時になって謝っても許さないんだから。
I'll never give up. I'm gonna defeat Caster and get you back. I won't forgive you even if you apologize to me at that time. And I think they both have sort of a mutual understanding at this point. When Rin says she won't forgive him to try to taking this all on himself. I think she's mostly hoping it's a play. Yeah, true. He did save them, so she can allow herself to hope it's a play. Maybe it's not a play, but she's most confident if it is a play, so.
それは無駄骨だな。まあ、自殺するというのなら止めはしない。
That is just vain effort. Well, I'll not stop you if you want to throw away your life. I think that is such a lie. Despite, you know, you might say shit like that, but I think you are constantly trying to stop people when they want to throw away their life. It's probably the biggest lie he ever tells. She turns away and starts to walk. She's biting her lip in anger. But she does not speed up, and Tosaka leaves the underground temple in a magnificent manner. Oh, once again, you know, now that the battle has toned down, I have to remind myself, man, she's hot. Everything she does, the way she does it is so hot. Even leaving the temple. Oh, so good. We get out of the church. We do not say anything. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay, but you're still pumping your shit. All right. Okay, then. Status? Archer? Master Caster. Do we understand Caster's real identity now? No. Even though we saw the name Media, we haven't gotten her fucking details or anything, right? What? We got a name drop? Bullshit. Alright. Was that all that's new then? Archer's master has changed? Oh, so many caster masters. Half the field at this point. Alright. Okay. So, with the status screen updating and Archer fully being master changed, and also I kinda have to pee. What are we saving over? Right, we just did this. This is a fun image of Lancer. Not really, but I'll just go to this one. No more Archer. Now it's the Shiro Rin duo. Save. Yes. Okay. Oh, and it's a no music save. Cool. All right. So, it's fitting. Now that I've seen the through line, it makes a lot of sense. It definitely makes sense from Archer's perspective. This is the play he would choose if he thinks it's a suicidal fight. If he thinks that it's a better chance of saving and a better chance of winning by going from the inside and ousting Rin and Shiro from the war. Makes a lot of sense. It makes sense for them to come to this perspective. It's sort of fitting that, you know, Shiro goes in the church in the morning, bad end. Shiro goes to the church at night, bad, the good end or whatever. I think it shows how narrow-minded he is in the moment while thinking about Rin, that there still is some unhealthiness there. It's a fitting through line, and he still, at the moment, needs someone else to complete him. In this case, he needs Rin to complete him. Now that he has Rin, now they can actually start, you know, thinking about more than just single-mindedly doing whatever, and maybe broaden their horizons a little bit. It would have been interesting to see Shiro try to self-fulfill first, but maybe, you know, we're still theoretically in the middle of his arc if he's still got the rest of this timeline and Timeline 3 to develop. Maybe it's a bit early for the full self-fulfillment. So, it still will be interesting. It's still the similar, it's different, but it's similar, in in how we'll react in the war without our masters, except now we're together, which means we get to see more of a chance of potentially Shiro and Rin to do a dual team-up fight, which is an exciting prospect because I kind of want to see that. And in a situation where they're, where Rin's not freaking out, but actually actively helping, where she helped a little bit in the Scully fight, but she was mostly just like, but yeah, where we go from here is a question. I think the most likely is Rin will probably suggest some kind of team up with Ilya and or Kirei, because those are, from her perspective, well, no, she wouldn't necessarily know Kirei is the master, but unless she does, but Ilya and or Lancer, let's say. She wouldn't know about Shinji Gilgamesh, probably, but she would, I would think, go for that to try to team up to attack Castor, because going at them as they are now would definitely not work. From Archer's perspective, going at them, even without any more allies, probably wouldn't work, but Rin was maybe dead set on it. I think more than anything, Castor wanted a way to save Saber in the whole situation. They could have teamed up with more people and then did a big all-out fight, but Archer might have thought the best way was from the inside to learn the ins and outs of trying to find a way to save Saber from the inside. So anyways, yes, that is where I'm going to end it for now. I am intrigued where that's going. I was getting, I don't know, because Shiro was tunnel visioning on Rin, and I thought they were going towards the not Rin, I was sort of like, oh. But now I'm like, oh, okay again, now that I've seen the whole through line. But yeah, I'll be stopping for now. See you guys next time. Still didn't have an outro phrase. So, Shiro and Rin, the best pair, sometimes. Maybe. I am a fan of Shiro Saber. It'll be interesting to see their romantic development now that it's just them without having to worry about the third wheel Saber or the fourth wheel Archer, second Shiro. Granted, Rin might just want to be focused right off the start, but now that it really is them alone, it will give them some time to potentially be, And now that Shiro, okay, I said I was going to stop, but I'm thinking aloud now at this point. Shiro basically said, this is the last time I'm going to see my house. Does that mean they're going to just sleep over at Rin's house? That's sketchy too. Though Archer gave them sort of a freebie out of the war, so it might be okay for them to just sleep at Rin's house, but... I would assume that's where we're going, because it'd be really weird for Shiro to be like, I think this is the last I'm going to see this house, only to see it again almost immediately afterwards. Though it might be fitting, to be honest, because it showed Shiro's shaky conviction and unsureness that he was so narrow-minded, and then after the fact, he just ends up coming back to the house anyways. So, it could be fitting in a way, but... lots of thoughts swirling around. But yeah. I think I'm done thinking things for now. I'll see you guys next time. The reason I'm thinking so much things is because I'm super excited again, I would say. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it, but I think now that I think I know where it's going more, but it's thinking, I think I'm enjoying it more again, I think. So stop recording. See you guys next time. Still don't have outro phrase.